nothing pleased me, and I got mad at you for not being able to. But God has done a miraculous work in my life. He's continued. Pastor Randy said he remembers the first time somebody asked him, "Do you want to be born again?" And I remember when somebody asked me if I wanted to be born again. And when they did, I looked at them straight and told them I didn't want to be born the first time. And I meant it.
Yeah.
I meant it. My life was like that. You know what I mean? Alcohol, just, you know, the whole gamut of things. But, and just briefly, you know, I remember there was times when I went to bed and I prayed to God, just, God, please take me out tonight. I don't want to wake up tomorrow. And then I would wake up in the morning and I'd be mad about it, you know, and just lay in bed as long as I can because I didn't want to get up and face the day, you know. But I had a lot of people around me praying for me, and I had a lot of Christians. God always made sure that I could be walking down the road and somebody would pick me up, and, you know, I'd get in the car, they'd start talking about Jesus. You know what I mean? I just could not get away from Jesus, man. He chased me down, and believe me, I tried, you know, you know. But I just couldn't, you know. But I was talking to Jeremiah about something that has helped me a lot. And I don't know where I came up with this, but I call it the 80-20 rule, right? And what this is just to give you a little idea here. All right, you got this here. And you know what, man? It's something that you got to consciously practice, too, because the past couple of weeks I fell back into psyching myself up with what's not going right, what's going wrong, and all that kind of stuff. But this is how it goes, man, with me and with a whole lot of other people. You can have all these wonderful blessings all around, right? But you've got this one problem right here, right? Now, standing back, you know, like back here, that's no problem. I can see all the other blessings I got, all the, you know, the wonderful things I have going on in life. But I allow myself, and maybe some of you may too, to, when a problem comes up, start focusing in on it. You know? You focus in on it, right? So that's what I do. You know, I got a problem. Now I go, oh, there's other beautiful stuff going on right here, right? But no, I got a problem. So I started focusing in on this problem. Start focusing in on this problem. Start focusing in. Continually focusing in. Until I find myself right here, and the problem with being right here, what can I say? Yeah. The only thing I can see is this problem.
Yeah.
You know? So now this problem is just consuming me because this is all that I can see. So, with that, what I've had to learn to do, and even I had to do it last week, is when I start feeling myself getting overwhelmed and start getting that pessimist attitude and like, oh, this problem, you know how it is. Once you get one problem, then all the other little problems you had, they become automatically big problems too. Next thing you know, you say, oh my God, you know, what's going on? But what I do now is when I find myself, and I usually get there before, I always get right in front of it like that before I catch myself. But I said, hold on for a minute. You know, this is not reality. You know, this is not the reality.
Yeah.
Life is not bad.
Yeah.
Everything isn't terrible.
Yeah.
You know, life doesn't suck or whatever. I'm not good at hey, but you know what I mean. But anyway, what I do now is I kind of stand back and I look back. You know, and I start looking at the dark. And as I'm backing up, I can say, hey, wait a minute. You know, I got a good family. Hey, wait a minute, you know, Peacemakers is a pretty cool place, man. You know, these people love me. You know, even when I have fallen short from the mark, you know, they didn't condemn me. They picked me up and told me, hey, listen, even when I didn't think I could do better, they said, hey, we know that you can do better. We know what's in you, you know. So I got that. I got my daughter. I got my grandchildren, you know. I've got, you know, I'm in the Jesus house. I got a bed to sleep in. I got, you know, food to eat, you know, all these things. And then once I start looking at those things, start bringing into what I really have going on, then the reality comes, the problem isn't that big.
Yeah.
The problem isn't that big.
Yeah.
And then life all of a sudden becomes a whole lot sweeter. Now, and with that, I like reading in the Old Testament a lot, and, you know, the Israelites, when they left Egypt, you know, when God delivered them out of Egypt, you know, hey, oh, praise God, we'll serve you forever. Anything you want, we're going to do, right? But as soon as they got out there a little bit, and God, you know, gave them manna and all that. And oh, praise God, you know, He's feeding us, you know, this miraculous thing. And I said, but then a little time after that, I was like, man, we're getting tired of eating this manna. You know, this is the only thing back in Egypt, we had leeks, we had all these other things, you know. And they started complaining and grumbling. And when that would happen, God would chastise them. And then he'd chastise them. Reality would set in, okay, once again, oh, we'll serve you, we'll do anything you want. You know, we love you and all that stuff. But then they would go a little bit farther, and they'd say, hey, listen, you know, we want, what there wasn't enough. Now, here's the thing. They actually said to God, you brought us out into the desert because there wasn't enough graves in Egypt for us. Now, they're saying this to God, right? And this was a continual thing. Anybody that's read through the books, that's a continual thing. They're grumbling and complaining. But, and, you know, God don't like that. You know, complaining all the time, it's a sin. It's a sin. You know, we might be conscious about lusting. We may be conscious about drinking or smoking or, oh, I wouldn't do that, I wouldn't do that. But how often do we complain? Mm-hmm. The red light, this light takes forever, this is crazy, this don't make no sense, you know, but we do it. And that's a sin, just as bad as anything else is. A sin is sin, right? But here's the thing, and I'm not going to, you know, I'm just going to say this. I ain't going to keep it long. But think about this. When the Israelites was going through this journey for 40 years, which did not have to take 40 years, but because of their complaining, their lack of faith, and all that, that's what it took. But now picture God up there looking down on them. God knew the whole picture. He could see the whole thing. Yeah. He's seen it all. You know, yeah. He knew where they were, and yeah. He knew where he was taking them, and he knew what he was going to give them when they got there. Yeah. Right? So he's seen it all. But they didn't. What they saw was the endless desert. You know, they said they trusted God, they believed in God. And they did. You know, but you know how we do. We question. So then they would start complaining. Oh, you know, we had this back in Egypt. We had leeks. We had, you know, all these other foods. You had a house to sleep in, you know, and all that stuff. But what they forgot was they was getting their backs beat every day, you know, to get the straw, to get the, you know, to make the bricks and all that kind of stuff. So they would start complaining, and God would chastise them, strike them down. You know how he did it. You know, he wasn't joking with that. That's just going to show you how serious complaining is. You know, God killed a whole bunch of people for it. You know, so it's, you know. But anyway, now God's up there knowing the whole thing. These are my children. I love you. I've got this wonderful place for you with wonderful things. But you can't see that right now. You know? What you have to do is trust God and believe and have faith. But they was unable to do that. Some, I don't know if all of them was, but some of them was unable to do that. But my point is this, that we all have problems. We all have issues, you know. And first of all, problems ain't bad. Get that out of your head right there. Problems ain't bad. In math class, how'd you learn? They gave you problems. Mm-hmm. Right? Okay, mm-hmm. So in that case, problems are good. It's all about perceptions. It's all about how you view things, how you see things. Right there, that's so easy. You know, somebody says, are problems bad? Yeah, of course they're bad. No, they're not. You actually learn how to do mathematics from problems. So problems are not bad. Some of them may be, but then some of them maybe not. It's just our perception of it. But here's the thing, that whatever we're going through right now, we have to trust God that He knows what's going on. It may not be pleasant what we're going through, but it's to educate us, it's to train us, it's to make us come closer to God. I know this for a fact. If my life went cherry good from the time I was born, I probably wouldn't be standing in no church tonight. Who needs God? I mean, that's the way I thought about it. You gotta just keep real. If everything's going good, I got, you know, all this. I got it going on. I don't need no help, you know. So the things that I've been through has actually made me drop to my knees and cry out to this God. So it did bring me. So once again, problems were good for me because now I know my Creator and I know what's really going on. I know what truth is in the Bible, you know. So I have a roadmap for this life now, you know. But the whole thing is that when we get frustrated or whatever, just praise God no matter what's going on. This guy, Marilyn Crothers, wrote a book called Prison Praise, and his whole thing was no matter what's going on, if you truly believe God is in control of everything, if you truly believe that, and we have to ask ourselves, do we truly believe that? We can say, you know, we have a mental assent to it, but do we truly believe it? But if we do, then whatever's going on, yeah, it may not be pleasant, but I can trust and rely on that God is bringing me to some place. He's growing me in some area. He's positioning me for some place. And if I'm not, you know, conditioned when I get to that place that God has for me, I won't be able to keep it. I may be able to get it, but I'm not going to be able to keep it because I haven't been trained to do it. I haven't learned self-control. I haven't learned these things. So And then what it is, what I wanted to say was just whatever your problems that you're facing now or facing in the future, really just try it. Just trust God, praise God for it. Say, look, Lord, I don't know what's going on. I'm not cool with this at all, but I know that it's for my own good and the betterment of your kingdom. And roll with it. And 9 times out of 10, once you get there to that place, you look back at that problem, it wasn't nothing. And you thank God for it. I thank God for the promise that brought. I'm from Delaware, you know, and here I am in Detroit. This part of Detroit, you know, is not what I'm used to, but I thank God I'm here. And I had some problems and issues that got me here. That when I was going through them, I wish somebody would have got me out of them. But now I look back and I thank God they didn't, because I'm actually quite content and happy, and I'm okay. And I've learned a lot, you know, but that's my thing. And I'm just going to read one Bible verse that, well, you know, a couple of them. There's another one that says, be anxious for nothing, but in everything through prayer and supplication